Welcome to Cantina Vizsla. For the safety of the bartenders and any other patrons, remember to keep all arms, legs, tentacles, or any other extremities you may have to yourself at all times. So come right in, grab a drink, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Coming to you from the Panic Room in the crap part of the cantina, I'm Sparrow, and with me, as always, is a man who some say his real name is Tim. All I know is I call him Stan.
What? Wait, what? Who are we? Where are we? What year is it? What's going on?
I have no idea. I mean, there's rumors flying around. Just going with that. Just throwing it out there. But, yeah, we kind of got lost in the shuffle with all this holidays and New Year's and family being in. And, oh, man, it has been a crazy couple weeks. So,
yes, it has.
How have you been?
Oh, man, I'm just glad, almost glad to be back at work, back in the swing of things. It's, like you said, this has been nonstop for the past 2 weeks. We tried to get together, but it wasn't happening. Too much family, too much traveling, too much everything. But we're back. It's 2019. We are ready to talk about some Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
All right. Yeah. I don't even want to, just craziness going on over the holidays. That's all I can say. Every time I turned around, my phone was going off saying, hey, so-and-so's in town. Come on over.
You had to travel for a wedding too, huh?
Yeah, I traveled a great 10 and a half hours down to South Carolina. So I went through, basically did all our Christmas stuff, had one day at work, turned around, had to go to dinner and everything, and right after work, and then packed up and left first thing in the morning on the 27th, and stayed down there until drove back home the 2nd. So we're recording on the 4th, so I've really only had like one day to try to get my bearings straight on what is going on and everything around here at home and in the game a little bit. Yeah,
I hear that. We ended up in Graceland for a wedding right after Christmas and stayed through New Year's. Got back, had a couple days at work, and yeah, here we are. But it was really cool. Memphis is a fun town.
Yeah, I've been there. I definitely enjoy the town. Did you go to Beale Street at all, or?
Yeah, we were gonna go there for New Year's Eve, but then just kind of old farted out of it and decided just to go back to the hotel and watch The Office and celebrate that way.
Yeah, my brothers and I were over at my cousins. We were playing giant Jenga with alcohol in our hands, so one-handed only. And somehow we got to the point where we had no blocks left to pull. So that was it was interesting. Everybody was like, "That's gonna fall," and it just kept going on. I have no idea how it happened. The bar and the alcohol was strong with us, is all I could say.
Use the force.
Yes, definitely. So, other than the holidays, I mean, you went to Graceland. What else? You get anything good for Christmas at least?
Yeah, I got a wireless adapter for my Vive. So I'm kind of diving back into VR and playing with that some more. So it's really cool. Really changes things up, not being tethered down to a whole bunch of wires. So that was pretty cool. I had to rearrange some of my computer setup. So if I sound a little different, I'm just going to blame it on that.
Yeah. People were going through and hated the wireless thing with wireless headphones, getting rid of headphone adapters. And look at that. Everybody wants wireless headphones. Now wireless VR. Jeez.
The fact that it works is pretty impressive. Just the amount of data and everything that's having to pipe through the signal, it's pretty impressive. So it's cool. It's not quite super prime time yet, but it's getting there.
For sure, I've seen a lot of really cool game implements and everything that could be adapted over to other things or that they're working on, where you can kind of see where they're going with it. That's really cool.
Yeah, even just the experience stuff is pretty cool. Like there's a couple of Star Wars apps on there that's neat. There's a Bespin thing where Luke and Vader have their "I'm your father" confrontation. So just being in that scene in VR is really cool. There's a Rancor pit you can walk around in. There's a lot of cool stuff like that I really like.
Yeah, nice.
You get anything cool? Any cool Star Wars swag?
No Star Wars swag. The coolest thing I got was I got one of the MOVA globes. So
those are cool.
So for those of you who haven't heard of them, I would suggest at least looking at them. They're basically planets or anything like that, and it's basically almost like a magnetic suspension, and they'll actually spin and rotate, but towards a light source. So if it's actually in a dark room, it does not spin at all. If you go through and add flashlights, it'll actually start spinning really quick, or a really intense light source. It'll spin faster and faster depending on how intense the light source is.
Yeah, I have one in my office, and it's real cool because somebody will come in, we'll be talking, and they'll see it, and they'll notice it spinning, and it never fails. They'll be like, "How is that working?" And we'll have to stop our conversation and go explain the MOVA globe. It's a really cool little conversation starter.
Yeah, I haven't taken it to the office yet. I'm enjoying it at home right now, but yeah, didn't really get anything too exciting other than that. Really, just I just buy what I wanted. I went through and bought Smash Brothers, so I was playing Smash Brothers with my brothers, and they were going through. My mom has pictures of us going through. He goes, "Hey, everybody finally gets in for Christmas and New Year's, and all three of us are on 3 different Switches playing Smash Brothers."
Nice,
but
that is cool.
Yeah, nothing major there, but hey, I enjoyed more going to the wedding, spending time with my family, and then my cousins that are down there. It was a great time hanging out with everybody. Disappointed we didn't get to record, but it was much needed escape from everything and kind of recharge the good old batteries. Although Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes really did not give us much time to relax and enjoy the holidays.
It did not. It was pretty crazy. Oh. Hey, before we get into Star Wars too much, one more thing I got to plug, and then we can move on. Into the Spider-Verse, the animated Spider-Man movie that's out in theaters. It is so much better than it has any right to be. It is so good. So
well, you weren't into the animation style at first?
No, I have nothing against it. I'm just, to be honest, not that big of a Spider-Man fan.
Oh, okay.
The old movies didn't do much for me. The Homecoming was good. I'll give them that. It got put up on the right foot, but this was just good all around. So if you're interested in it, go check that out. Let me know what you think of it.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people commenting originally that they went into the movie with doubts just because they weren't sure about the animation style, which I could see also. It is different, but yeah, I haven't heard anything negative about Into the Spider-Verse yet from anybody.
Yeah, it's really good. But anyway, enough about all that nonsense. We got some Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes to talk about.
Yeah, we had a long stretch here. Did you get anything done? Or were you trying to protect your GP to try to get a more favorable Grand Arena matchup?
No. After the first few matchups, I've kind of accepted my fate when it comes to GP. I'm still just chugging along on that. The only major thing I did finally build that Sith team I've been talking about. So I put a Zeta on Maul and Savage Press, kind of get my Sith bros up and running. Everything else is kind of saving it, kind of see what happens when the next shoe drops.
Yeah. We'll get into it. There are definitely a couple shoes that we think will be dropping here, but nothing. I didn't. Let me get you here. Hold on. See, we've been off, and I'm staring at things and forgetting, but Yeah, definitely a good. So you're definitely going to be splitting up into 2 Sith teams then?
Yeah, I have my triumvirate and my B team.
Okay. I mean, those would definitely be a good addition, especially if there's any more 3v3 Grand Arena. Having Zal and Zavaj in there will be definitely beneficial for you.
That's what I'm counting on.
Yeah. So, yeah, I did get a little bit done during this break. I said I was going to get my Ewoks done, and gosh darn it, I am close. Chirpa is now gear 12. Along with Ewok Elder.
Nice.
Is also gear 12. So, I mean, that was 2 very beneficial things for me. I am almost... So the last one to get to gear 12 is Paplu. And Paplu right now is... I'm missing that final little droid collar piece in which I'm at 45 of 50. So hopefully either tonight or tomorrow morning he will be at gear 12 also. So super excited. Ewoks are about done. So I will have a full Ewok squad.
Yeah, it's such a good team too. Even if if you already got Chewie, man, they pay dividends in this Grand Arena.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed that. I've got a few defensive wins, and people actually just kind of avoiding them in general because I have them modded decently. I have them modded the same way I went through and actually got C-3PO, so I do have some decent plus 10 speeds in there. Modded properly, so it's not like a walkover. Oh, they aren't really modded. They just look like they're geared teams. The other thing I got done, Kira is now 7 stars.
Hey, all right.
Yeah, and then this last little bit with all these events and everything going on over the last few weeks here, finally went through. So after the C-3PO event with gearing up my Ewoks and giving them abilities, I had 0 Omegas. I have been going after every single event I can, buying Omegas, taking advantage of them any way possible. I am up to 84 Omegas, so finally I have at least a little bit, have my Omega cushion back up. I do have 3 Zetas I need to spend yet, so it'll leave me roughly about 50 Zetas, or 50 Omegas, for a new character or whatever I want to do with them, but it is a lot better than having 0 Omegas and not being able to spend my Zetas or get those last little abilities up. But, yeah, so it's...
Talk about those events for a second. Oh my God.
Grand Arena was great. Grand Arena I had
immense.
no problem with handling during Christmas and during this extended holiday period, but all these events, oh my. Every time I turn around, I mean, you could spend easy an hour in those events just because you have to go through and wait for them to actually go through. And, I mean, it took me a while, and I'm trying to think of an event in which I didn't have a full team at gear 12, and it still took me a long time to actually get through.
Yeah, I mean, I can auto it all, but yeah, it takes a while. So CG, can we maybe think about putting some sim options in those, please?
Well, I mean, they aren't too bad when you throw them one at a time, but having them all at once, having 5 or 6 events all at once, I mean, you're sitting there, it's like, I was like, I can't afford to give up Omegas like this, or actually the possibility of getting a really good mod. It was a rough go of it as far as finding enough time to be able to get all those done and simming them all, but everything did get done. I think the only one that was actually rather difficult that I've run into any issues with was the... I'm trying to think of the event name. You need Imperial Troopers or Empire and Droids. That's what it is. And I cannot auto that that event, so it actually took me, and even takes me a couple times to run through to try to get through those Ewoks at the very end. Ugh.
Yeah, I actually switched to a droid team for that one, for the Ewok event.
Yeah.
And that's worked out pretty well. But yeah, don't get me wrong. I love all the events. I love getting all the gear and all the currency. And this a sim would be great, and a sell mod from the inbox would be amazing.
Yes, that would be amazing. I did hit the mod cap a couple times and had to go through and sell some gray mods and some 4-dot mods and everything, but going through and actually having all my characters at level 85, I am creating a nice credit cushion here. I mean, I have 30 plus million credits laying around, so I'm able to play with mods, upgrade them, see how they turn out, sell them, put them on characters that aren't needed, and move around, which is really nice.
Yeah, that is very nice. Plus, if you see a mod in the mod store, and spending that $4 million is not a big a deal. So that's pretty cool too.
Yeah. So I have been steadily working at that. So let's get into some Star Wars news, and then we will get right into Galaxy of Heroes news and calendar watches and all that good news.
Yeah, Star Wars. Couple things came out. Probably the biggest news in the last 2 weeks I can remember is IG-88 was confirmed to be in The Mandalorian. We got a screenshot of him on a green screen. So it's cool they got the same actor back from the original trilogy. So I mean, he's looking good. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, doesn't seem like he aged a day.
Yeah, he really takes care of himself. So that was cool to see. I'm more and more just really looking forward to The Mandalorian. Let's see. Celebration is less than 100 days away, so I am counting down the days to that. If you're going Chicago in April, please let me know, and we can do a meetup or something. That would be a lot of fun. Let's see. Anything you're excited about coming up in this year?
Definitely the Mandalorian TV show definitely has me intrigued as far as that goes, and then outside of Star Wars, I am ready for Game of Thrones to come back.
Oh, yes, indeed. That's going to be cool.
Very soon, April, so it's coming up quickly.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but I'm not, because then once it's over, it's over. Then what? What do we do?
No, Martin's going to completely change it up in the books. The TV show will end completely different from the books, but we still have about 12 to 15 years before Martin finishes the next 2 to 3 books to actually finish off the story.
Yeah. So hey, if you need some books to read before then, there's some good ones coming out this year too. We've got a lot of Clone Wars books coming out. And probably the biggest thing I'm excited for is a new Thrawn book. Thrawn Treason is coming out this year. Cannot wait for that. Thrawn is my boy. He's my favorite Star Wars character.
It's amazing. Star Wars, the whole area and everything. Clone Wars is a big deal in everything but this game.
Yeah, maybe this is the year. Maybe all the stuff that we were talking about last year will finally see the light of day this year.
We really got to get back on our bandwagon here. We went through, pioneered Night Sisters, and Night Sisters got a rework. I went through and jumped on that Bounty Hunter bandwagon, and that they got a rework. They got a lot of new characters. We really need to hone down and figure out what we're going after. I mean, I kind of been after the Droideka, which is a new character, not a faction. I'm feeling like that was my issue. I'm not going with a faction.
I'm actually with you. I think separatist droids are going to be a thing. I think when we get a Grievous rework, we'll see some synergy with Droideka. We'll see Magna Guard make a comeback. Probably get a B1 battle droid in there somewhere.
Yes. So you're saying I should keep on with the Droideka?
I think so. Yeah.
All right.
I think it's coming.
I can do that. I can stay on that droideka. That's not a problem.
We've got the Clone Wars TV show coming back. So it's all lining up. It's all lining up.
Well, you're forgetting one thing at the very end of the year.
Oh, I'm getting there.
Oh, okay.
So we've got Resistance coming back. Should start here pretty soon, and we'll have the first season wrapped up. It's we've talked about it. It's getting pretty interesting. We've got the Cassian TV show they're working on. I'm actually pretty interested in that as well. I love the pre-rebellion kind of espionage and kind of the backstory there is really interesting to me.
More on K2 also. Always good.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got Galaxy Edge opening up at Disney. So if you got some money and time, you can spend some days out there in an immersive experience. That's really cool. Say what you will about Disney and the franchise. We didn't have anything like this back in the day. So, they can bring that to the forefront and if it works out, that's awesome.
Yeah, and all the screenshots and pictures and everything of them building that, it looks absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I'm going some way or another. I don't know how or when, but I will go there. And then end of the year, you were mentioning it, episode 9. We will finally see the end of the Skywalker saga.
Yeah, hopefully that leads to a lot more possibilities within the game, along with these Clone Wars stuff. Do we finally get to see the Knights of Ren?
Let's hope so, yeah. It's all of this is pretty exciting for the game. We've got kind of hints and rumors that we're going to see the original trilogy Millennium Falcon fairly soon. Jedi Revan should be coming back, which would lead to a Darth Revan event. We're kind of estimating February for that.
Well, not even that. Darth Revan, we kind of have to look at somewhere in February, which traditionally over the last 3 years, it's been Sith month in February.
Right.
Because we went through and got Traya. Or not Traya, sorry. We got Darth Nihilus first year. And then last year, I believe it was Scion, correct? In February, along with the Sith Raid coming out in February. So it's really a Sith month. And then here in February, we should be looking at Bastila Shan Fallen, Candris Ordo, Juhani, and Karth all going free to play somewhere within that month. And that would definitely lead to a panic farm to go towards Darth Revan. So,
right, yes.
Definitely seems very much geared up to be another February again as a Sith month.
Right, yeah. But if not Darth Revan, then Malik, and we've talked about that to death. We're not going to hit it again here.
Yeah.
But, yeah, a lot of that coming up. Then we got the Clone Wars era. There's tons of fertile ground they can tread. I don't know if they'll go too much into the comic books. They haven't yet, but it would be exciting if they did. There's some great stuff going on there.
Yeah,
but then,
everything that's in the current Vader context, everything that involves Dr. Aphra and everything would be amazing to see within this game. And they said they have a lot of flexibility as far as who they can bring into the game because of the way they set it up, saying it is in a cantina on a holotable, so myths and legends of the Star Wars universe do count.
Right, yep. Let's see. That's pretty much, I'm sure we're missing something, but that's the main things coming out this year. So it should be a pretty exciting year for Star Wars.
Yeah, for sure. So let's get into the game on what we ran into while we're away. So, I don't think we really need to get into a calendar watch. There isn't really anything too outlandish in there.
No, we got Luke coming back on the 10th. So if you're still needing him, Daring Droid coming back on the 10th with the Mythic on the 12th. Yeah, that's the main things coming up. No real big gaps in the calendar that I can see.
Yeah, which is kind of amazing because we haven't had a new marquee character since Karth? Yeah. And that was December 1st. So it's been over a month already since we've gotten any type of new marquee character. Actually, new character at all, correct?
Yeah, it's been a while, which is it's fine with me. It lets us catch up a little bit.
Yeah,
Don't tell them.
Yeah, I'm not really complaining. It is allowing me to catch up, which is kind of nice. But it is surprising. So I'm expecting a couple of marquee characters, but have no idea who or when that would happen. When we go into get out of the calendar and kind of look at the news, while we're away, they did update the game and they moved the Bronzium cards. That is amazing. I think it is absolutely amazing. And the best part of it is their post saying, yeah, so we realized 3 years of muscle memory will cause problems. And people actually bought chromiums because they were so used to, out of muscle memory, scrolling all the way through and clicking through, and actually bought a chromium pack.
Right,
so if you bought it within the first, I think it was 24 hours, you could submit a ticket saying you went through and purchased a chromium on accident because of this, and they refunded you the crystals for it.
Yeah, that was a nice touch.
Yeah,
I didn't expect them to move that, to be honest with you. You know, there was the whole grocery store analogy of putting the stuff you need all the way in the back, so you have to pass all the things for sale. So, hey, good on them.
Yeah, I enjoy that. It makes everything a little bit easier going through with our daily routine, trying to knock everything out that they have set up for us in the game. Another thing they went through, because they had a lot of data mining in, because they jam-packed this update full of basically everything for a couple weeks because they were away. So the data miners were actually able to go in, figure out what was going on, and discovered Slave 1 as the login character of the month, which, man, that leads to a lot of possibilities in which, as you already mentioned, the original trilogy Millennium Falcon starts rearing its head because all those leaks had the original trilogy Millennium Falcon coming out needing bounty hunter ships, which included the Slave 1. So, man, if you aren't farming Houndstooth and Xanadu Blood and IG 2000, you better hop on it.
Right, yeah, not a whole lot of time left. Yeah, they data mined that. They data mined a lot of new territory war faction bonuses.
Yeah.
Some really crazy stuff in there, too, like Ewoks having 0 cooldowns. That's insane.
Yeah, it worked perfectly for my about-to-be Gear 12 Ewoks, so not upset about that.
Yeah, whether that sees the light of day, it's hard to say at this point. They're doing a lot of crazy stuff with Territory Wars, which we'll get to. So maybe not, if you're not focused on Ewoks, maybe not do it for that reason. There's plenty of other reasons to farm the Ewoks, but I wouldn't say use this as your primary reason right now. Yeah.
The more important thing about this that I took away from the data mine, Slave 1 is the login. So that leads to the original trilogy, Millennium Falcon, which we've talked about with the bounty hunter ships. All you need to really worry about when we look into the future, like we said, the rest of the KOTOR characters are right there for next month.
Right.
There is nothing else in the future. We don't have any other characters leading up to anything other than marquee characters. So you're pretty much starring up those characters if you can, gearing up teams for Territory Wars, Grand Arena, Raids, your arena. Just kind of do what you want. Gear up those teams, take advantage of this downtime, and go from there. Work on your teams, try to get them up to snuff.
Yeah, for sure. And, the bounty hunter ships are pretty good. Houndstooth's arguably the best ship in the game. Xanadu Blood's really good. Slave 1 is a great ship. Haven't messed too much with IG ship yet, but
everything but IG's ship is in my ship arena right now, and I can take first fairly easily with that team, with those ships in it at a lower stars. So they are great ships. They're definitely worth going after. Although it is killing my energy going after all 3 ships at once currently.
Yeah.
And then when we look at what I took away from the Territory War data mine stuff, CG went out and kind of said Grand Arena now is a little bit more on the competitive side, and Territory Wars they're going to be looking at as far as mixing it up more, adding tweaks to it and mixing it up as they go through. And those bonuses that they data mine, they just seem like things they put out there that they were trying in some sort of build and kind of got leftover breadcrumbs in there for people. Right. So I mainly take it as Territory Wars will be switching up a lot and will continually evolve and have different bonuses, which they also came out with bans of characters and other different ways to actually mix it up.
Yeah, well, let's talk about Grand Arena first, then we'll look forward to Territory Wars. We just wrapped up a series of Grand Arena events. They tried a couple of different versions of it. What did you think?
I honestly liked all of them. I went 2-1 for all of them. Always got matched up with someone that basically not even outmodded me, really just had a deeper roster as far as characters go. This last matchup was a little bit rougher. There were three guys with Revan, which made everything a lot more difficult, but first one was 5v5, then we had a 3v3, and then this last one was the regular 5v5 squad, but the layout as far as zones, it was just 6 full characters and then a ship. You could see everything that was laid out, so you couldn't hide teams.
Yeah, I didn't like that one, to be honest with you. There was no strategy there. It was just hey, let's just bang metas together and see what happens.
Where I'm at and where I'm looking at a lot of people that I watch being around that 4 million GP, it is just enough where you get oddball teams, or just not quite enough. You're trying to save just enough on offense to clear everything. Although there were a lot more full clears that I've noticed.
Yeah.
When you could actually see everything, because you could kind of plan out your counters. So that, like you said, there wasn't as much strategy other than actually building your team. So it was a different type of strategy. It was more for the theory crafters trying to throw people off with teams they haven't seen before and may overlook and not take quite a meta team into it. I really enjoyed the 3v3 though.
Yeah. I think that was my favorite version of these.
Yeah, I wish there was a ship in there, not just the characters, because that does greatly distinguish people. Because I've seen a lot of players, a lot of game changers that they go through and they start playing ships, and that's where they lose Grand Arena, is because they cannot play ships. They don't know the counters. They don't know even some of the abilities, like going through and watching them spam AoEs on TIE Fighter pilot and just getting obliterated because they're giving so much turn meter to the capital ship because it's constantly dodging and giving turn meter to the capital ship.
Yeah.
So I would have liked to see ships within that 3v3 Grand Arena.
Yeah, I think my perfect mode would be 3v3 with ships with and people are going to hate me for this, but I'd like to see two defense zones for ships. Give us one more capital ship, and then we have three on offense, 2 on defense, and really stretch that ship roster out.
I've talked about this one quite a bit in Discord. Yes, I would like to see that, but I don't think we're quite there yet with our ship roster to be able to accommodate that.
That's it. Well, that's just it. It's the chicken and the egg problem. You want ships to be an important part of the game, but you have to have stuff to do with them. Nobody's going to get them ready to do stuff if there's nothing to do with them. So, yeah, it is a problem.
I think right now having Territory Wars helped it a little bit. Grand Arena is helping a lot more. Now everybody's looking at an offensive and defensive ship team that are really good and are starting to build those up. And the bounty hunter ships are kind of key to that, to really make that work and have 2 distinguishable teams. But yeah, they definitely need another capital ship to be able to accomplish that. And I want to see the capital ship and maybe a few other ships come out before they add basically one more defensive squad and one more offensive,
right?
One more defensive ship team to be needed. Just because I don't want them to run into another instance of dark side territory battles where it was so horrendously painful to get through it because they didn't have enough characters at the time of release of that to actually go through and clear that and have it as a fun game mode rather than a chore to get through. And you could actually see it will get better because they will be releasing new characters, but right now it's not ready there. It's not at the point for players to go through and enjoy that.
Yeah, it needs a few more ships, like you said. I'd like to see them do a little bit more with the player count or the team size. A 4v4 might be pretty cool. And that way you can build out a little more fleshed out team. You get your attacker, support, leader, and tank in there. Stretch your roster a little more. Call me crazy. I wouldn't mind seeing a 6v6. Really throw some stuff out there.
Well, a couple of the game modes or zones that I would like to see mixed zones. So if we have 4 zones, 1 ship, say 1 5v5 and 2 3v3 teams.
Yeah, that'd work too.
Another zone that I would like to see, whether it's 5v5 or 6v6, I would like to see them with 2 leaders. A dual leader zone would be add for a lot of interesting mechanics.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That I would like to see, and it's built into the game already because you can do that for your light side battles and dark side battles. So it's not out of the realm of possibility of having 2 leadership abilities coexist and actually work in a setting within the game.
Yeah, they just have to go through and make sure there's nothing in there that's going to just be impossible and just be a timeout team.
Well, I don't even think that's a problem because if it is, if you place it in a back zone and people find it, you can fix it afterwards. It's one zone within Grand Arena that would happen, for 3 days. And then you can go through and comment it and fix it, and the community's so large, I mean, it's not going to be a horrible thing, and the amount of people to be able to exploit that isn't probably huge because people aren't going to have that perfect roster with those perfect characters to be able to do that.
Yeah. So, Grand Arena, are you going to change anything going forward?
Not really. I don't think I'm really going to change anything drastically. Going to stay on the plan of who I'm gearing and what teams I'm gearing. The only thing it really made me realize was I have okay mods. People I'm going up against, and we were looking at this before we started recording, was 10 plus speed secondary mods Man, I have 100, which is okay. How many did you have? 146, Stan?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
And then we're looking at other people, and they have like 246. The guy that had 246 is the same exact GP, same exact character GP, same exact ship GP as I do. And that's where I am noticing that I'm actually lacking, is I have to go back through, which having the credits now is helping. Gearing up or leveling up more mods, spending the time slicing them, and then strategically modding my defensive teams and offensive teams where they have good speeds on characters that need speed, tanks having more health, protection, defense, and basically just modding up characters or teams unexpectedly to overwhelm my opponents. That's more of where it's changing up my strategy. It just made me realize how much I can actually grow within just by remodding teams that I already have.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat too. I've got a lot of C plus B minus teams I can build. They're just not competitive. So I got to do a little bit of work, especially on my tanks, and they are such resource hogs too. It's painful to gear, but if I want to be successful in this mode, I'm just going to have to invest in them. But that being said, just kind of at the end of this, I kind of ended mid-range on a lot of mine. 5th place, a little bit lower in some, a little bit higher in others. I didn't get a first place at all, but the rewards aren't that critical, at least this iteration of them. So I'm not going to sacrifice my ability to stay competitive in normal arena or the ability to get the marquee or legendary characters when they come out for this mode yet, unless they really do something with rewards and make them, top tier. Yeah, I'm happy just playing the game for fun. And if it's a game changing character, I'd put some more effort into it. But right now, I'm not going to stress out over it. I love the mode. Don't get me wrong. This is one of my favorite modes out there. I want to win, but if I don't, I don't. I'm not going to just be crazy for it.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm not stressing about this. I'm just looking at it. I'm going to continue on. I'm just going to go through and shift a little bit more of my focus and actually remodding teams, because there are a lot of teams that I have as passable. Because anytime I use them, they do what I need to. Nothing more, nothing less. And I move on and leave the mods alone and don't think about it. And it's made me realize I really need to go through and kind of relook at mods, because I know a lot of the characters I have modded up, and I was using extra health mods and that has speed on them and everything, so they're good, but I was mainly using the health because I didn't have them fully starred up or fully geared up at the time and needed that little bit of survivability over damage. And now that I have them 7 stars, gear 12 with gear 12, and in some cases gear 12 plus gear pieces on them, they don't really need that health anymore. They need more damage, and I need to go through and be aware of that and actually go back through and remod characters after the fact now.
Yeah, there's definitely some roster reviews we need to do on ourselves and some reflection there.
And I think some of that might be just complacency with the current meta, because I'm still running Treya. So I've almost been running Treya for in some shape or form within a couple months of the Sith raid coming out.
Right.
So I mean, that's almost a full year. I'm closing in on let's say right around 10 months right now, the same arena. So that's kind of, I have a feeling that's kind of why my mod situation kind of feels like that, is because usually I'll go through, get a new arena team, remod them, and then it trickles down throughout all my other teams. And I just haven't done that in a long time. So it's definitely becoming very, I can see it a lot easier in Grand Arena as I'm going through, seeing how my teams stack up and everything. It's more of an eye opener, and just definitely giving me the focus that I need on what I want to work on.
Yeah, that brings up a good point too. As we kind of transition to the next topic, the meta has been stale for quite a while. It's Revan, Traya, a little bit of Bastila. But
not CLS is there now.
Yeah, he's making the comeback.
Yeah, thanks to C-3PO.
Yeah, the point I'm making, though, we've had the same kind of 4 or 5 teams just dominate the game for the past 2 years, and it's really kind of getting stale. So, I mean, you face the same teams every day in Arena. Territory Wars are starting to get the same thing. You'd see the same walls, same battles. So they're doing something about that, or attempting to try to shake some things up.
Yeah, they definitely are for Territory Wars. So what Stan is talking about is a lovely post from CG saying Grand Arena is now the more competitive node, and since now we have Grand Arena, we're going to be relooking at Territory Wars, making it into a game mode in which we play around with a little bit more. And as many times have we said, change the map up, it'll be fine. Just give us something, change the map up, throw some new bonuses in there. They're going to change the bonuses up, but they have no intentions of changing the map, because that would be so hard, and it's not like their art department isn't probably gets the most compliments within that organization right now. Anytime something changes even a little bit, their art department is bang on getting compliments other than character faces. Character faces is the only thing. Maps, backgrounds, they are on point. So it would have been nice to get a new map, but we aren't doing that. Then they went through and said, we were glad to hear all the great feedback on our bonuses for Mace Windu and Grievous, and glad everybody really enjoyed it. And we're going to go through and continuously mix that up in a completely different way and go completely away from that. And here's a vote. And then we want you to vote on which characters you want to keep, and the rest of them we will be banning.
Yeah, I get what they're trying to do.
Well, let's put it this way. On the surface, I saw that. I'm like, okay, we're banning a couple characters. No big deal. We're talking about, what? I was thinking 6 to 8. No big deal. Maybe a faction. I was like, okay, I can see a faction or two being banned. Still cool. No. This ban, it will consist of 28 different characters, and looking at how you would have to vote, and looking at basically they're in groups of 4, and how this would go about, it's pretty much going to affect every single Territory War team upper end guilds are using. Has 1 or 2 characters that will or have the possibility of being banned.
Yeah, a lot of leaders, a lot of critical support characters. Treya's in there, Revan's in there, Hera's in there, Thrawn,
Nest.
Nest.
Nest, Death Trooper, General Veers, Range Trooper. Yeah, I was going through looking at them, like, every single block I have, at the very least, 2 characters that are sitting there, Gear 12, that are critical to my teams. Out of these 28 teams, probably somewhere around 16 to 20 of them, I will have Gear 12, and they will be banned. And I have 46 Gear 12 characters, so we're talking about 20 of them, so a little less than half of my Gear 12 characters are going to get banned for this Territory Wars go around.
Right. Yeah, like I said, I applaud them for looking at ways to change the meta up to encourage deeper rosters and standard or non-meta play, because again, it does get stale and it definitely does need to be changed up. I'm going to give this a benefit of the doubt and see how it turns out, because remember, your opponent will be in the same boat. You're not going to have Treya or whoever. They're not going to have her either. So it's going to come down to who has a deeper roster and knows what to do with that roster.
So speaking of that, that was kind of my first thought. Not first thought, but when I started going through thinking the same way you did on how they're trying to break up these territory walls. We talked about this many, many times as far as territory war strategy and guild strategy within territory wars. And we were both of the same mind. It is better to have a guild that has a broad roster rather than super focused that has very specific territory wars, teams, encounters build up, and that's it. And these bans, to me, seems like it's really going to hurt those guilds because they are super focused and they aren't going to have the ability or guild members being able to pick up that slack because they're so focused on specific characters.
Yeah, it's going to hurt them, and then I think it's going to hurt younger guilds that are maybe more focused on getting raid teams put together. They may not have the ability to expand a roster out. So that is a concern. But hopefully the plus side of it is it makes the game more fun, and I'll touch on that a little bit later. But we play this because it's a game. We like the Star Wars characters. We like collecting them. We like hopefully using them. I don't like getting Jango Fett, and he's really cool, but there's nothing I can do with him because he's just sitting at the bottom of my roster with waiting to get geared while I focus on other characters. I want to take all my little characters out and play with them, and this will give me more opportunities to do that. So that's a plus. How it's being implemented, I have a couple of concerns with.
No, I like that. I like the implementation of the vote.
Well, but here's what I don't like about it. I don't like that it's not in game, that you have to go to the forums and then link to SurveyMonkey and do it that way. It needs to be more visible in the game itself.
For everybody.
It's going to catch a lot of people off guard with the first time that this rolls out. Yeah. I see the meltdown coming already.
So, I agree doing that, but for the first go around, because they're out of the office, I see why it's going to be a little bit more difficult, but I do like the vote. I do like the concept of, say we vote every month for either the territory wars. I was kind of hoping we were going to be voting for bonuses rather than banning of characters, but say they give us 5 or 6 bonuses and say, hey, vote for your top 3 that you want in this territory wars. That sounds like a lot of fun. Doing individual characters and giving us say 10 characters and then voting for 3 or 4 to give bonuses for that month. Sounds fun. If you're going to be banning characters, I don't think banning characters is the way to go about doing it. Say nerfing factions. Instead of giving bonuses to a faction, say First Order gets minus 50 defense or something like that, so it's not advantageous to actually use those factions, or it severely hampers you if you use those factions. That seems more like a compromise as far as getting away from those territory blocks and walls, but not banning characters and not penalizing, because it feels like being penalized, because like you said, we don't want to have characters in which, man, I really want to use this really cool character, but I haven't been able to gear him up. And then on the flip side, hey, I have this really cool character that I spent a lot of time modding, a lot of time gearing, and you're telling me I can't use him at all for this game right now.
Yeah. And that was the biggest complaint I saw, is nobody likes having stuff taken away from them. I think that the bonus idea is much more palatable.
Mm-hmm.
And you can
the bonuses or the debuffs. Like,
Yeah.
my debuffing a faction or giving them, I don't even know what to call it other than a debuff, negative effect or something like that.
Well, how about we call it a handicap?
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, you can still use your Ewoks, but they're going to be half speed. Something like that. Or like the original bonuses did, they negated an entire faction by empowering a character. So you could still use your Sith, but just know Mace was about to open a can of whoop ass on them.
Yeah.
And that was a lot more fun to me than just not being able to use them.
Yeah, say some of the handicaps is like Traya uses half speed. Because that would lead to interesting mechanics in which you can kind of get away with it on offense because you really want her leadership ability, but that character is basically a wasted slot. So you really have to have the team build up around her to be able to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, back-end programming, I'm not a programmer. That may be just the amount of work to do that might be a little too much at this point, but I hope it's something they can look forward to or look more into in the future, because I think banning is probably the easiest solution right now. May not.
Yeah, the only thing I can go through and see why banning was the first iteration of this was that they've been out of the office for the last 2 weeks, and they didn't have the time to program out all those bonuses or handicaps like we're talking about after what they called a successful and positive feedback from the last territory wars, that they weren't able to flesh out some of these bonuses, but they wanted to give us something to mix up territory wars. And this was the easiest way to do that.
Right. And this may be a total bust and just end up not fun at all, but I hope that doesn't discourage them from trying more stuff like this in the future.
Yeah.
Just playing the same game every day. We need more stuff like this to keep it fresh, keep it interesting. If it doesn't pan out, hey, try something new.
And everybody's getting up in arms about this, but remember, it's only 2 territory wars. That's all that's planned out for this month.
Right.
So we're only talking about 2 territory wars. At the very worst, at the upper end of the guilds, you're missing out on 2 Zetas if you lose both of these matches.
Yeah, totally not the end of the world.
Yeah.
And chances are the mode will be messed up and we'll get an apology reward anyway.
Oh, yeah, probably. Instead of banning characters, everybody has double the characters that got banned.
Right. Yeah, you now have 4 Paras and Dolas in your party.
Yeah. So, yeah, everybody needs to go through and just remember, it's 2 territory wars, number 1. And number 2, look on the bright side of this. It looks like they're running with the idea of mixing up territory wars with either bans, handicaps, bonuses, something of the sort, and actually getting the community involved by voting, which I really like. I see more positives out of this. I don't like the first implementation being bans and how this is going about currently, but in the future, I see this as a good thing.
Yeah,
or leading to a better thing, a better style of play within territory wars.
Yeah, definitely. Well, speaking of looking forward and better things, hey, it's the new year. It's 2019. We are in the season of resolutions. So I put it out to the community of what are your Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes resolutions? What are you going to try to do better this year? You have one? Have you made a resolution?
I think I'm going to stick with the mods. I'm
okay.
I'm going to do better at focusing on modding up teams, or not modding up teams correctly, because I do that, but paying more attention and actually going through and trying to play with the mods on how I talked about possibly doing a Zeta Barris team with General Kenobi and 5s and really load them up with 6-dot health primary mods to try to make that team very much a timeout team where you cannot take just straight damage up against it, and kind of play around with teams with mods rather than actual guild compositions.
Okay,
or not guild compositions, but character compositions within a team.
Yeah, that's definitely a good one.
And I think I'm going to go with one other one too, because we talked about it, and it's mainly we said we were going to go through and focus on a faction or something that needs worked on in the game. I thought of one, and with you bringing up territory wars and something that we just auto and is so stale right now that needs fixed. Territory battles.
Oh, yes.
We need a new map. We need something with territory battles because the rewards are absolutely amazing. The concept of it is absolutely amazing. But, oh man, is that painful to play right now.
Yeah, and again, our biggest problem is we're at a spot where there's nothing we can do to improve. I mean, we can get an extra wave here or there, but until there's enough characters in the game to get our GP up another 15 million or so,
yep,
there's just nothing we can do. And we've already got light side on farm. We max that out every time, so that's not a challenge. Yeah, we definitely need something new there.
Yep, I'm going with that because that seems like something that definitely needs a lot. It needs some work because it is. It's a necessary evil right now, but it's not fun or challenging. At least for our guild, I could see where other guilds are doing that, but it's not a challenge. It's just a straight show off how big your GP is, guild GP is. That is all territory battles is right now. And guilds are not going to be worried. I have a feeling Grand Arena is going to go through and actually have guilds lean towards not worrying about that at all, getting what they can out of it because they don't want to inflate their galactic power because of Grand Arena itself.
Oh, breaking news. Speaking of guild and guild GP, our guild, the newly renamed Alliance Eternity, has just broken 200 million guild GP.
I think we would have broken it earlier. I think everybody was sandbagging for Grand Arena.
They were, but hey, it's there until somebody leaves or gets booted or whatever. Anyway, nobody cares but us. Kind of my resolution was to focus more on the actual gameplay of it versus just what modes can farm me gear the most efficiently. I mean, yes, that is an important part of the game. It is a resource management game. But it's also a cool little Star Wars game, and I want to focus more on the fun side of it. And Grand Arena, some of these new territory war modes are going to give me a chance to do that. If I want to farm up Magna Guard, I can. There's a place for me to use them now.
So you're going to become the Jawa master, right?
You know what? I just might.
That should be the New Year's resolution. Know what each Jawa is just by the picture.
Maybe by next year. That's a tough ask.
Yeah, they're very distinguishable, I swear. See, the one has a gun up and the other one doesn't have a gun at all. The one's turned to the right and that one's turned to the left. Obviously, they're different. Yeah,
he has a sash with a grenade on it. Yep, totally. So yeah, we put it out to our community on Discord and kind of got some of their resolutions. Jedi Dark Knights wants to get Jedi Knight Revan, so that's a good resolution there. He's a great character.
Very great resolution, and I'm already on top of that. I have all my characters ready for that, so I am there.
Yeah, hope you get your chance soon. Nerb Cole wants to pick a fun squad to gear up at some point, not just a meta. Yeah, I think a lot of us are wanting to do that now. Sand Shoes wants to finish Heroic Sith in the top 10. You can do it. Believe in you. Especially once you get Jedi Knight Revan, you can get the 9 million in Phase 2. That really helps a lot. Jedi Dark Knight had another one. He wants to finish top 10 as well. And let's see, Drew wants to not buy any more Star Wars toys. That's never going to happen. You know better than that. He wants Revan back on the 19th. He looks like he's getting close. Willa the 33 wants to finish Houndstooth to get back to top 5 in Ship Arena.
Yeah,
and Ship Arena is kind of still overlooked. I mean, it's a great place to get crystals if you can get yourself up there. The competition isn't quite as fierce generally as it is in the normal arena. So definitely worth looking into. And finally, Drew Nuts, he's working on his solo Scoundrels for fun.
Hey, I'm going through looking at these. I was like, I like a lot of these New Year's resolutions. I mean, I'm not feeling the heroics at top 10. My teams are there by the amount. I mean, I said I was going to focus on mods, but whew, that is a tall order to remod characters for that, just to do that. But pick a fun squad to gear. So I now have Ewoks and Phoenix both geared up, and I am working on the Scoundrels as another team. So I'm feeling good about that.
Yeah, that doesn't sound forgotten. Yeah, I just love synergy teams, and I hope we see more of those.
Yeah, the big thing that seems to be helping me, tying back into Grand Arena, that's helping me is, with pretty much my resolution last year, was going through and focusing on teams, finishing out teams, not getting distracted, and getting them up to the bare minimum, and then leaving them there. So the teams that I do have, they are Gear 12. I do have pretty good mods on them, and it is really helping me out in Grand Arena because I have those fully fleshed out squads. If I am missing a character at Gear 12, they're at Gear 11, pretty much maxed out for where I need them to be, which is amazing. Now, if I drop down and use all those characters and don't have any characters left that are Gear 12 as far as team-wise goes, then it's a pretty big drop-off, and I pretty much have to throw in the towel and go, yep, that ain't happening today.
Yeah,
because it's a far drop-off. I go from Gear 12, Gear 11 to, hey, it's Gear 10, and they just have some random mods on that I had left over and haven't looked at them in forever. So, is not very helpful at all.
Yeah, that's one thing I've learned in Grand Arena. Gear 10 just does not cut it.
No, not unless they have Gear 9, Gear 8, Gear 9, Gear 10 on defense. And you're like, I see that, and I'm like, okay, what team can I use that is not Gear 12 that will take that team out? And I'm
pretty much just Wampa. Just you see a team, just throw in Wampa. Done.
Vader,
get all the bonus points.
Yeah, Vader, Wampa, and like Stormtrooper Han or something like that, or Rex, Wampa, Stormtrooper Han. Some version of that. He just goes through and womps everybody.
You've got to get womped. Sorry, I'm scrolling through through memes here, and I saw worst coloring book in the galaxy. It's a Kylo Ren with stormtroopers behind him, and the only thing he can color is his red lightsaber because everything else is already done. Pretty good. I'll throw it up on Discord.
Yeah. All right. So we alluded to this with our marquee watch. The next, not even characters, the ships that we're looking for that should be coming up here within the next couple weeks are the B-28 bomber and Jedi Knight Anakin's ETA-2. So both of those should be coming free to play within the next couple weeks, which is B-28 bomber. Jedi Knight Anakin's ship is actually really good.
That's a big good one, yeah.
Yeah.
B-28, everybody probably already bought that one, so they won't even need to farm that, right?
Obviously, it's those... I don't even know what they call it. Thermal detonator-like things. The bombs that he places on everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, because everybody knows his ship, so they should be yelling at me because obviously everybody knows his kit like the back of their hands because he's so good. And then we get past that. I mean, literally, those are 2 ships, and then everything else is KOTOR characters that we have on our marquee watch that is not free to play currently, other than Jedi Knight Revan.
Yeah, Johnny and Carl should go into shipments either. Well, it's got to be next week now.
Next week, yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll start hitting the free-to-play come February. Fallen Basilisk should hit either the end of this month or 1st of February, and then we're going to start the countdown to whatever they're needed for.
Yeah, man, with how small of a list we're looking at, I'm just kind of baffled and very curious on what marquee characters and where we're heading to this, because that logging character being Slave 1 leads me to believe Millennium Falcon. Awesome.
Yeah,
but it gives us no hints to marquee characters.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to see what they come up with.
Unless we're going original trilogy ships. Say maybe we get a Y-Wing.
That would be cool. I'd like to see that. I could see him start. It's a long shot, but I can see him start rolling out Clone Wars characters as marquee to build up towards something in the future. Again, it's a long shot, but it's in the realm of possibility.
I don't see that as likely. Maybe that's where they move November with the Clone Wars content that got moved to January. Maybe I know in February I'm completely expecting more Sith. That's all I'm expecting is more Sith there. So. Who knows? Yeah, let's start wrapping this thing up. Do you have any old man yelling at Reddit or not?
Just the reaction to the territory war stuff. Again, Reddit, come on, calm down. Just give it a chance.
You gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, I mean, not.
Where's your outrage?
Yeah,
shoot him down.
Yeah, I think I lost it traveling. I don't know. Anyway,
you're still in the holiday spirit. There were no trees to yell at consistently. Jeez. Work on that this week. Go through, sit on your porch, stare at that tree, and just feel the rage build up.
So what I'll do, I'll work on my rage.
All right.
Well, what may make me rage is these dang bounty hunter farms. These ships. I'm still plugging away on those.
Wait a second. You already have Houndstooth done. I don't want to hear about it. Get out of here. Get out of here.
My Xanadu's still at 6 of 100. My IG's at 47 to 85. So I got some work to do. I'm expecting Millennium Falcon in the next 2 or 3 weeks. So I may have to dip into my crystal stash if I want to catch up on that. I don't want to do it because I'm really still trying to save for the KOTOR farms, because I am not looking forward to those. But
nothing else.
Nah, well, he's Sith fighter, but who cares about that?
Just filling out space. I see how it is. Yeah, I'm going through gearing up. Like I said, Papalu should be done very shortly, and then I decided I'm going to go through and gear up C-3PO, and as soon as C-3PO is geared up, I'm going to finish off my Kira team, which I do have just about half of them at Gear 11. I was kind of waiting on the stars, so they are well on their way also. Going to consistently stay in there, and like I said, those hard nodes, it's Houndstooth, Xanadu Blood, and IG-2000. I'm really just going for trying to make sure they're all at least 5 stars so I can at least get an unlock. Because I have a feeling if it's Millennium Falcon, it's just going to be a legendary ship, not a hero's journey event in which you have to have everything at 7 stars. I really want an unlock at the very worst. And that's what I've been going for. So, and yeah, that's really it. I mean, going at obviously L3, trying to finish L3 up, have a couple more stars for that. That's about it. Yeah, nothing major. Just kind of, like you said, with this lull in the action, trying to get caught up on things, trying to finish off teams where I can just throw some gear and have the star levels ready for anything that comes up. building up a little bit of a crystal stash, but I'm bad at that. I went through and saw that crystal stash, and I'm like, all right, I can buy some Cantina refreshes and wrap up L3 quicker, maybe finish off all my Cantina farms.
Yeah, I was really going to just hoard everything for Revan, but I have been kind of dipping into it. I've still got about 32,000 crystals saved up, so I can't complain too much. It's not quite where I wanted it to be, so...
Jeez. I go through and see 4,000, and I'm like, I hit 5,000. I'm like, all right, I can buy some Cantina refreshes now, and you're like 32. Jeez. Yeah, I'm horrible at hoarding crystals, but like I said, it's really just coming down to I want to finish off those Cantina nodes. And that Grand Arena GP thing does not scare me. I'm going to get those characters done. I'm going to star them up, and I will deal with the consequences in Grand Arena.
That's the spirit.
I ain't scared. Bring it.
That's right. That's right. Hey, speaking of bringing it, hey, 2019 is going to be a good year. Part of our podcast resolutions is to, at least for myself, I want to get more active in the community, get you guys more part of the show, get more of the other community out there. You know, there's a lot of great content creators out there that, you know, we're friends with in Discord and other areas. You know, Ethan, he's been on the show a couple of times. He's got some good streams going on. He talks about mods and all of that. So definitely check him out. Urzatron, great dude. We appreciate the shout out you gave us on your show. We'd love to have you on ours. So we'll be in contact. Maybe we can make that happen. Yeah, join our Discord. We got a lot of great people on there. We got some good conversations going. It's been a little slow for the holidays, but we're slowly waking up, coming back to it. And
everybody on Discord has been a little bit slow for the holidays.
Yeah, definitely.
And don't forget, you're gonna shout out those two. You're gonna get yelled at if you leave out Goodnight Punk and Wink over at the Shattered Order.
Yes.
So don't forget that we always talk to them. I'm in their Discord about every day, so hanging out.
Yeah, they were on the list. I was getting to them.
Sure you were. Just say that now. Try to cover your butt so they don't yell at you.
I love those guys. They wouldn't yell at me.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah, they probably would. Let's see. Hey, don't forget the AllianceGaming.com. A lot of good content creators on there as well, and the portion where we put our tip jar out. Hey, if you like what you hear, if it's helped you any, we do have a Patreon, patreon.com/Cantina Vizsla. You support the show, helps keep the lights on. We have a $5 member tier that will get you access to our Grand Arena Recon channel. We will help you out with your teams and your defenses and anything you may need. It is on there. We would appreciate it. And if you can't or don't want to donate, that is fine too. We're going to continue to do the show, put it out there for free, and continue to have a great time with all of you guys and girls out there.
All right. So until next week, I swear it is going to be next week. It's not going to be a couple weeks from now or something like that. We will be back. I will lock us in this panic room to record, maybe with a guest, maybe not. I don't know. I'm hoping for that. I have been gearing up, setting up the podcast to be able to easily be able to have guests on, and I am to that point. So I am super excited about that. And like I said, until next week, guys, later.
Yep.
As you are exiting the cantina, we would like to say thanks for stopping by, and we hope to see you out on the hollow table soon.